rated movies. I'm your guy, I'm your man, Mr. Alton Henry, and today I'm going to talk to you about another film, A24 horror film that just came out this weekend. We're going to be talking about Men, starring um, was it Roy Grainer or Kenner, or Roy Kenner, and Jesse Buckley. It's a story about a woman who's trying to escape the horrors of having to witness her ex-husband suicidal death, possibly or maybe, and she escapes to the countryside somewhere. I think somewhere in Britain, where she is in a environment of peace, where she's trying to get away and just be on vacation. And weirdly, she is encountered by several men who appear to look similar or the same, and they could be after her for whatever reason, who knows what. Now, I'm gonna try to get straight to the point. This film was great. It was phenomenal. But it's an artsy, metaphorical movie where you have to kind of look at it at a interpretation of what's happening, of what it all means, instead of just watching it as a casual viewer to kind of really get invested in the movie, because there's things that happen in the film that don't make a lot of sense and it just happens, or you kind of need to do your research on certain aspects about the film, and unfortunately you won't know until after you watch the film to kind of look into it if you're into that. I know people like to be spoon fed information, but this film is not that, because when things happen in the film, you don't get an explanation at all. You just go along for the ride, and you just kind of have to really, really kind of get into it. And you would need to be, and I'm gonna just go ahead and blur it out. You would need to be very knowledgeable in the, and I'm not, but you need to know about the Adam and Eve story and the Greek mythology of certain things that imagery that takes place in this film. Jesse Buckley was phenomenal as the widow who's trying to escape from the haunting consequences of her late husband, and she's great. She's great, and it's one of those performances here where it's mostly um, facial expression and emotion. And there's not a lot of dialogue that takes place in the film. There's not. There's like, and really, it's really her, the actor that plays the husband, and then Roy Kinnear are really, really the only people. And then I think the another actress. So there's really only four actors you really see here, and Jessie Buckley is great in this film. I haven't seen much of her work. I think this is really the first film I've seen her in. And she's great. You see on her face the torment and the exhaustion she goes through when she's dealing with her ex-husband, trying to escape her relationship. And let's just say there's certain things that happen here in the film that makes me kind of realize certain things about relationships, mostly towards for men who, I would just say, you do not want to open up your emotions at all. I'm sorry, but aside all that, you see that, and it's also kind of somewhat like analyzing people using their emotions to manipulate people or their partner to be their, I would say, to be their safe net, or to be, or to rely on for everything else in the world. And that is a heavy burden. Um, to use your partner for not in a healthy way, and it becomes very, um, at least very tragic scenarios. Let's just say that. Um, Roy Kinnear, I think that's his name. I have to look at it. If I said it wrong, please forgive me. He's great playing the seven different dudes that are in this film, and I believe they're all the same guy. He just morphs into different beings. And to kind of go into this a little bit, and I'm not really, it's a little of a spoiler, but it's just something to kind of clarify because I know there's people who watch movies and they don't like explanation. I'm not gonna really spoil anything too much, but I will say this: the story structure, and I think this is just the way I think Alex Garland's tells a story because this is the third film he's done it in where he'll play one story kind of forward and then he'll center or show something that would predate what's happening in the actual story. For instance, like with Ex Machina, have he'll have like title cards come up about showing like their chapters. It feels like that they're chapters, and he'll have that through the movie, similar to what he did with Annihilation, where they show certain flashbacks of the main character going through something, and it shows what happened and what caused this character to go through that, or what was the cause of it. It's similar to that. It's similar to that. It's similar how he tries to tell the story, and it's really another film that I see where, and looking back at his other two movies, it seems like he is more along the lines of women somehow overcoming emotional abuse from men. And it's a journey that you witness and see along where women do stand up for themselves, but more in an emotional way to escape the grasp from controlling of men being controlling or somewhat being distantly and emotionally abusive, and you see it here. So I'm noticing a trend with his storytelling with that. I'm gonna go out and say this: this film does make the message kind of clear out that men kind of have this sexual natural urge to do certain things, feel like they can't control certain, I guess, traits about themselves when it comes to women. Um, so it's kind of like heavy on the nose with that. I do see this film triggering some controversy given what's happening now, where there's a big battle of the sexes happening with men and women. You do get that vibe. The film, I'll be honest, was straight up just sending out that men have emotional needs and needs that we've tried to rely on the female to fulfill them, um, mentally, emotionally, and sexually. And maybe that's not the route it should go, just from my understanding. And the antagonist, the multiple Roy Kinnear guy, what's going on my phone? God damn it. Why are you doing this to me right in the middle of this motherfucking video? Um, turns out in mythology, this person is known as the Green Man. Uh, let me see if if I could pull it up on my laptop. Oops. What does the Green Man mean? Green Man mythology. Green Man is a legendary being primarily interpreted as the symbol of rebirth, representing the cycle of new growth that occurs every spring. The Green Man is most commonly predicted in a sculpture or other representation of a face which is made of or completely surrounded by leaves. The spirit of the Green Man. The Green Man is found in many forms throughout history. He is to be found in many different cute uh, guises, but the common feature is his face covered in leaves, basically. Very often sporting from his mouth. He is often found carved in wood or in stone in medieval churches and cathedrals. Why they were included in the construction of these buildings? Uh, some people suspect he was a bridge between the new belief of Christianity and pagan belief. It replaced evidence from the crossover religions could be assumed from the seeding Christian churches. The term green man is modern in nature. There's a poem which I won't read, but there's so much imagery involving this figure of the green man. And it's like in the film, hold on, is to believe a symbol it symbolizes the cycle of life, death, and rebirth, the symbol of godhood within the male and its relationship with the transcendent life forces. Our God is the female expression of divinity. He is a pagan symbol who who oh spring I gotta read more. God damn it. The Green Man is also known as the Jack in the Green and is connected with the Green Knight. Oh, so this could be a companion piece with the Green Knight. If you walk within a forest of ancient woodland and get the feeling you're not alone, the chances are he is with you. He's been with mankind from the start and now is around us more than ever, helping us to connect, to no, not connect, to make contact with our natural environment and stop destroying our ever fragile world. Wow. So that is the character of the Green Man. That is the villain of the movie. And to be honest, I'm still trying to understand the concept what it deals with. Um, I won't spoil too much. I think I spoiled a little bit just to give you a little bit of insight about some characters. This movie was great, but it does play like Annihilation and like Ex Machina. The horror element doesn't really happen until like the last really 30 minutes or so, 30-40 minutes, I think, from that sequence. The movie's not long, it's like 100 minutes, like 95 minutes. So it kind of gets straight to the point from point A to point B. Um, what I really loved about this film is how beautiful it is. And what I really liked about it actually was the lack of information you were getting from this film, and not able to kind of figure out what's going on. But when things were happening, and you're kind of as clueless and not sure what's happening, just like the main character, Jesse Buckley's character, and it creates a more terrifying effect. And Alex Garland is able to play that out pretty much throughout the whole film. So when the horror aspect of that does come in, yes, you are in for a good scare. Also, there is the ending. This is probably going to be one of the most memorable films, I think, even though I think it's going to be underrated, is at the ending. The ending, there's this sequence about rebirth again. That's going to happen. That lasts for like 5 minutes. And you're like, what the freak? It's a disgusting scene, but it's like something you've never seen before. It reminds me of Annihilation, the ending. It's like Annihilation in a way, but more in a gory detail. And actually, my folks just watched this movie today. My mom hates it. My dad's still processing it, and he's like, he thinks he kind of likes it, but this film is a good thrill ride. And Alex Garland, I'm noticing he's successfully is able to make a horror film to where he's able to stretch out things about the film. Like he's able to keep the mystery for so long, and even if you still don't get it, he's able to still kind of give you a good horrific kind of horror feel vibe to it. It still gets intensely scary at parts. Like it got like I was at the edge of my seat literally the last 30 minutes of the film because you didn't know what was going to happen next. And when all these other guys start showing up at her house and you're wondering how the hell is this possible, you're literally questioning your own sanity. Oh, what's happening, why it's happening. Again, I do believe this film will be controversial, but a film I think needs to be really analyzed more because I could see this film starting a debate, a dangerous one at best. Men, have you seen it? Comment below. Let me know if you what you thought about it. Um, and if you needed a barf bag for for that scene. Trust me, I've seen gorier films than this. But comment below. Let me know what is your favorite underrated movie.